Hello, everybody. It is Friday. How we doing tonight? How's everybody doing tonight? It is Friday, Friday. Everybody loves it's Friday. Alyssa, in first? No way. Jennifer got beat by Alyssa. Alyssa's daughter must have been playing with her phone. Hello, Heather. Hello, Jennifer. Laura. Cheers. Angie. Angie again. Multiple Angies. 3 Angies. All the Angies are in a row on my screen. Creda's with us. Catherine in Pennsylvania. Karen. Ringing up sales in Augusta. Bonnie. Bonnie. Yes, it is Friday, Bonnie. We are surviving another week. Vicky's with us. Julie. Sarah's got stuff. Yes, it is Friday. Diane. I feel like I just communicated with you, Diane. Sarah. Zach. Hey, you're taking Friday early. Yes, cheers, Laura. And Dina's welcoming her 25%. Jennifer is waving and partying from Orlando. The Atlanta crew is kicking in. Kitty. Michelle in Virginia. Deanne, Dana, and Jeff Johnson are checking in. It is so good to have you all with us this Friday night. Absolutely thrilled to have you join us. What are we grateful for this Friday night? What are we grateful for? I've seen a lot of things, people talking about a lot of good things today, so what are we grateful for this Friday? Tell me all about it. Carmela! You're on my tomorrow list, Carmela. I haven't forgotten about you. I got a lot of people to catch up with. I didn't make as much phone progress as I thought I was going to today. I am so jealous of sitting down in a restaurant. Someone last night texted me pictures of food on a plate out at a restaurant. I just drooled. It was only a hamburger, but I still drooled all over it. Angela got 10K, baby, from her EIDL advance. That's awesome. Dina's getting the PPP. Jennifer's opening Monday. Nancy's joining us. Diane's like, hey, I just read that you talked to me. Dina had $1,700 in sales today. Chocolate ice cream with peanut butter sauce. Now that's something to be grateful for. I heard there was an ice cream shortage. Cassandra was telling me at the market they had lots of just 5 flavors when she was at the market. It wasn't like there was a big choice. Making sales, Heather. Joanne is with us in Chicago. Vodka and tonic. I went gin and tonic tonight, Vicky. Pat, good to see you with us. Joanne got her PPP. That's awesome, Joanne. Very excited for you. Alicia is with us. Dennis, you said you were having margaritas, I think. Hang on, I may have to go back and memorialize that because it's not conference time, and you and Jan only usually drink at conference. So, but it's a good thing Texas is opening up. Prosecco and ice cream, Leanne. I like that. We Prosecco usually on Sundays, but I like a nice Prosecco. Best carrot cake takeout ever. Claire got $2,000 from the SBA advance today. Claire, isn't it the greatest thing when you see that line that says miscellaneous treasury? Like you're just a miscellaneous line item for the treasury now. Beautiful weather. Kitty's got beautiful weather and the birds are singing. There's a hug button now on Facebook? Who knew? Crystal's with us. Bonnie did over $1,000 in sales today with one-on-one sales. Tacos and chocolate chip cookies. I am like out of baked goods. I need some baked goods. Claire, oh yes, that's, you're talking about my miscellaneous. That's absolutely, it's the greatest feeling when that shows up. I'm okay being a miscellaneous line item for the government. Okay? I worry when I'm not miscellaneous. If I was getting such a big payment that I wasn't miscellaneous, I might worry about that. Bonnie's learning something online? No way. All right, Bonnie, I'm proud of you. That means if I'm talking with Bonnie, that means Park's not watching me tonight. Curbside allowed in Washington for now. Hey, Sage, that's better than what we got in Massachusetts. So, in Massachusetts, we can't do any curbside and only the owner is allowed in the building. In Massachusetts. So, be thankful for what you got. Heard from my state rep today and, from the governor that he's considering loosening that for curbside and for non-owners before Mother's Day because the florists and stuff are up in arms over it, but we'll see. One of the big stores around us that's a chain, it's actually in the north, well, I think they actually have stores as far down as Maryland, but they're based out of our area. That's a Hallmark and gift store. So they do Hallmark. They're a Hallmark Gold Crown dealer and big gifts and gift items and stuff. They lost over $1 million in Easter inventory that they had to get rid of from being closed for all this time. So, all the Easter candy and everything that they wouldn't keep. I mean, they donated, they were really great. They went and, because their warehouse is local, they went and set up outside the hospital with just chocolates and stuff for all the first responders, all the candy, which was really great. Margaritas in the driveway. I like margaritas in the driveway. We're gin and tonic tonight, but I like margaritas. I'm still mourning the loss of my favorite Scotch glass. So we went with gin, and I couldn't even find one of my favorite. I know it will show up in somebody's store at some point, but they don't have them on eBay or anything right now. That's where I found my last one, after I broke my one before it, I found it on eBay, but they don't have it on eBay, so we'll have to see. And Kitty's doing curbside in Illinois now. Very nice. Especially your part of Illinois, Kitty, I don't think is as nearly has hit as the direct Chicago area, but I'm glad Illinois has stepped up on that, and I'm optimistic all the pressure we're putting on the state. I mean, I want people to be safe. There's no doubt about that. But I think one of the lessons we've seen today is those that want to be out and feel safe to be out are out and about, and those that don't are staying home, and that's okay. It's okay that they make those decisions to stay home. I'm okay with my mother-in-law staying home, okay? I don't need a sick nana, so that's all good, but I am jealous of those that are able to restaurant in some form or fashion, even though it's different for those of you that are able to do it right now. Miss Jenny Walker, welcome to us, Miss Pasadena. I want to get you a sash, Miss Pasadena. Yeah, they really are, and we're going to talk about the shoppers tonight. That is one of our topics. We don't have a huge agenda tonight. It's Friday, and government likes to shut down early, but we are definitely going to be talking about shoppers tonight. So that will be a topic. But we start, after our grateful praise here, we start with our Good Morning, Good Night book. Reno's in attendance. Well, hello, Reno. Good to have you with us, Stella. And you got in just before our Good Morning, Good Night book. Every night we start with the Good Morning, Good Night book. Oh, I love that. Two ladies from Peoria. Well, that sounds like a joke, too. I had two ladies from Peoria. Two ladies from Peoria sitting in the parking lot and order from your website and do a porch pickup. That's awesome. Molly Baker in Steamboat yesterday had somebody drive 2 hours, a couple ladies, 2 hours to shop with her. So people want to be out. People want to be back in our stores. People miss the human contact. So, and speaking of humans we like having contact with, Marcia just joined us tonight. Thanks for joining us, Marcia. We're just getting to our good morning, good night book for the night. Our good morning today is, this feeling will pass. This workload will pass. These people will pass. But look at you! With the gift of memory, you can time travel to the good stuff by just closing your eyes and breathing. Then come right back to now, eyes up for the good stuff ahead. You magic thing! That is our good morning, good night book tonight. Good stuff. I do pretty good at that for just randomly opening to a page. Let's not forget, if you have not read the NARTS newsletter, the NARTS May newsletter is filled with valuable stories to help you get through this, okay? Absolutely fabulous and truthful stories, inspiration and such to help us get through these tough times. But we're headed there. We're headed there to head to better days ahead. Oh, that's awesome. I'm glad. That is great, Jennifer. I'm glad to hear that. You know, this is all about small business helping and taking us to the other side. Yeah, the businesses that have started opening are teaching us a lot of lessons of what we have coming our way. So there's a lot of good stuff here. Let's see what I've got here in my pile here today. Got lots of stuff. Hey, Chris, thanks for joining us tonight. Okay, so this is interesting. For all that Amazon's getting picked on for, they're the king of sales and a winner during this pandemic. Sales are up 26%, and they plan on spending their entire Q2 operating profit, which is somewhere around, I want to say, $4 billion. Hang on a second, let me just make sure. What would we spend? Yeah, $4 billion or so in operating profit. Okay, they expect to spend that and perhaps a bit more on COVID-related expenses. Okay, so Amazon's costs have been up as part of keeping their employees safe, having less efficient processes. So Amazon is built on the efficient process wheel. Okay, that everything is just running like a machine. And there's a lot we can all learn from that. But to make their facilities safer for social distancing and such, higher wages for their hourly teams, and hundreds of millions to develop its own COVID-19 testing capabilities. And so they've been investing in all that, and so over $4 billion is going to be spent. They're having to spend on things of that nature to bring them up to speed. So that's just an interesting take, excuse me, on what is happening, for other people, because everybody's, talking about how Amazon's a huge winner and all this, and, it appears in the short run. Remember my Acres of Diamonds story? Enjoy the diamonds that are surrounding you. Not everything's always greener on the other side. They're having a lot of costs and expenses with this. I know nobody's getting out the tissues to cry for Amazon right now, but just keep that in mind. Hey, Nancy, thanks for joining us. Michelle is joining us in Ohio. Stephanie and Deanne. I thought you were already on, Deanne. Maybe I'm going nuts here. So, Macy's CEO says, Macy's will survive. It has a role to play in American retail. Macy's CEO was in a wide-ranging and candid interview on CNBC, and how he's not banking on any government aid, and how the company is taking steps, including finding new funding to strengthen its financial positions, and how vendors are really feeling it. I think about the pain I'm causing them every day and what my actions have done for them. Macy's is often the poster child when it comes up to discussion about whether retailers will survive the outbreak and the added stress that's placed on the already challenged industry. The CEO, is betting on survival, and did not hesitate. When you think about fashion for America, Macy's and Bloomingdale's are good curators of that fashion. We have formats from off-price to luxury, with Last Call to Bloomingdale's, a gamut of price points at a national level. And there's opportunities and white space that we can go after. I.e., we can grow out of this, okay? We can grow our way out of this. I wonder who has said that before. Where did he hear that idea? He's a 36-year veteran of the company, acknowledging his personal and professional bias, but I remain optimistic for our role in American retail. There. And he's used this time to take things, in technology, to learn things about his team that he's never seen before. Like, he knows their dog names. And it's much better than expected, their communication as they've been closed. But that's just interesting and positive. Again, positive news is starting to win the day. And that is a good thing. Part of that positive news that we see out there today is as these stores are opening, customers are coming out and they are making sales. So that is huge. Huge part of the story of today. Kurt can open on Monday. That is awesome, Kurt. Hey, Alexa and Lisa joining us tonight. But that is, and Diana's joining us. That is huge. So as stores are opening, customers are there for them to open. Customers want your products. They want to take advantage of it, and they want to work with you. So, excuse me. That is absolutely huge. I've loved seeing that today. I loved seeing Karen's store in Augusta, Georgia, and the line of cars out front early, and the register ringing. So the other thing that hasn't happened today, have you heard one store say it today? Oh my God, we had this line out the door and they all wanted money. No, not one store owner has said that today. There has been no run on the bank with the stores that have opened today. Not one has called me freaking out, oh my God, Neil, oh my God, they're all here for money. So there is a lot of that. Yes, the employees will come around too. The employees will come around, Michelle, because they want to be out too. There are different forms, because I've had several discussions with different people across the country today about work programs in various states. Again, we talked about it. I gave the Massachusetts example, but many states, and I've helped stores across the country, have programs in place where if they earn even $1 of unemployment, okay, so they work not their full schedule, but they work a lot, they get $1 of unemployment, they still get the $600. And some people just won't want to come back. Some people are just afraid and never can see themselves leaving their house again, and that's okay. You have to respect their decision, and they're the governor of themselves, okay? But unless they have COVID, in most circumstances and in most states, they don't have a leg to stand on from being called back to work, unless you have a true shelter-in-place order, which pretty much nobody has right now. So keep that in mind. And then they lose their unemployment. And states are following up on that because they want to get, there's over 30 million documented unemployed people in the country right now. 30 million documented unemployed people. Okay, that is people actually collecting. Okay, unemployment. Okay, that does not deal with the people that weren't able to get unemployment, that were denied unemployment for one reason or another. That is just 30 million people actually collecting unemployment in this country. So there are people out there people that want to be at work and go to work, and we want to protect our employees and keep the work environment safe. So it is a combination. But fear of the virus is not a reason that they can't come to work, okay? And the only exception in most cases is if they actually have the virus, especially because we are employers, or most everyone in here is an employer of under 50 people and does not fall into the new federal legislation for that. So that is things to keep in mind. And now, Bonnie, you have under 50 people and you can be exempt under that. And how you handle that is sort of a self-decision, okay? Whether you allow her to come back 3 part-time days a week, or you decide that you don't want her back unless she can come back to her position. So, but you don't have to. You can opt out of the federal paid leave, Family Leave Act. You do not have to participate in that under 50 employees, and that is 50 head count, not 50 FTEs. So that is your choice to participate in that. I've worked with some stores already that have had employees say, I'm going to take my leave under the Family Leave Act, and then they've had to inform their employees that we're not participating, that because businesses under 50 can opt out of that. So that is something, and the PPP can be used for new hires. But the PPP has to be used in the 8 weeks, okay? The PPP has to be used in the 8 weeks after receiving it. And the goal is to get people off unemployment, okay? But if they choose to stay home, they actually choose to become unemployed. That is their choice, and that is fine. And again, it will affect the unemployment numbers nationwide and by state, but that stops the $600 a week. That stops their unemployment benefits. That stops all of that because then they're choosing to quit. So, because all the other excuses are not a legal reason to not come back. While we're talking about the PPP, I do have a few things on that tonight. First of all, the IRS is denying deductions for given paycheck protection loans. What that means is it's a twofold thing. From a income and expense standpoint, you don't have to count the PPP only if you're over 50 employees, Chris. Christina San joined us tonight. Okay, so deductions for IRS denies the deductions for forgiveness of the paycheck protection loans. That's a two-sided denial, okay? What they are saying is the Paycheck Protection Program, the actual loan proceeds, the money that goes into your account, is not taxed as income, okay? But on the same token, if your Paycheck Protection Program is forgiven, assuming that which we want everybody's loan to be 100% forgiven. I don't want to have anybody that's taking that as a loan, and I'm going to talk about that in a second, okay, again. So you take the paycheck program, it's not income. When you have it forgiven, okay, the expenses of payroll that are attributed to it, okay, the money that is used for that is then not a business expense this year. So if your paycheck protection loan is $10,000 for simple math, and you got $10,000 in forgiveness, the $10,000 of payroll or rent or such cannot be claimed as an expense on your taxes when you go to do your taxes. So it's just a wash. It came in, it paid things. You can't use those things as expenses and essentially double dip. So I know it's getting a little bit into the weeds with taxes, but it doesn't hurt you as income, and doesn't benefit you as a deductible expense, is the short version of the IRS ruling on that. Back to it, not on a loan. So one person I've been... Hey, Christine, congratulations! I am so happy for you that you sold your first item online. I am thrilled for you. Everybody, 3 cheers for Christine. And Michelle understands my tax talk, so that's even better. That's great. So I've said over and over again that this is a bad loan. Okay, if you're not going to use the PPP for payroll, and again, while the regulations say 75%, I am telling you 80% to account for any math errors, because again, it's gross payroll plus state payroll taxes that are eligible as payroll, as well as health insurance and retirement contributions, okay, are eligible. And I'm saying to do your math at 80% for that, okay? And with that, you have to spend all of that in the 8 weeks following, okay? And with that, hang on a second, I'm withing that a bunch here tonight. And the other 20%. So you have to spend 100% of the money in the 8 weeks following getting it, okay, to have any chance of this being forgiven. You do that, and your chances are good. My goal is to get everybody forgiven. So I had, and I've told you that the payment on this is not cheap. People think, oh, it's a 1% loan. It's just a loan. It's not a big deal. You've seen the discussions in some of the other resale groups. Oh, it's just a loan. I'm going to pay off other higher interest rate debt. Well, it's like a mortgage payment for many of you. And one person's bank today actually... That is correct. You have to spend it in the 8 weeks following disbursement, following it hitting your bank account. From the day the money hits your bank account is when the 8 weeks start on this money, okay? The June 30th date, okay, so I'm expecting clarification. Again, I went back and forth. I can't believe how accessible the associate director, assistant director, the number 2 guy at the SBA has been to me today. I mean, above and beyond. I can't say enough about how accessible he's been today, as I have sent him stuff and seeking clarification. So he has sent the 2 key questions off to the, hang on a second, I don't want to get it wrong because it sounds like a name that only government can make up. The Capital Access Team, okay, the Capital Access Team, okay, is the ones that actually write the guidance and the FAQs. And so what we're asking, what the ask has been is 2 things. 1, define FTE, okay, so put it in writing on what an FTE is. I'm expecting 40 hours, but they could do, as Obamacare, 30 hours, but I'm expecting 40. Okay, and so that's number 1. And number 2, define June 30th for forgiveness, because June 30th is an alternate time frame for forgiveness. The expectation with the June 30th date, okay, again, it has nothing to do with spend. Spend regardless of when you get this. So if you got your PPP on May 30th, the effective date of the spend, or the time period you have to spend it, is the 8 weeks after you get it. The immediate 8 weeks. If you got it in April, you got it in May, whenever you get the PPP, it is the 8 weeks after you get it that is important how you spend it. Okay, and it's all got to be spent in that 8 weeks to get it forgiven. So, But it looks like they are going to define the June 30th date as bringing your employees back. So if you didn't hit the FTE, because under the current written guidance, it is 75% on payroll, which I say 80, okay, and 75% of your FTE on average over the 8 weeks. So like you had 50% the first 4 weeks of your FTEs and 100% the last 4 weeks of the 8 weeks, and you hit a 75% average of FTEs. There is an alternate guidance that if you bring them back by June 30th and spent the money during the 8 weeks, that the loan will be forgiven. That isn't fully defined. I expect it to be defined in our favor in a manner that would make it easier to achieve, but it will not change whenever that's defined, and I'm hoping it's defined next week from my going back and forth with Alan Gutierrez today. I am hoping that it is defined in our favor, but until it's in writing by the Capital Access Team, okay, who knew there was such a thing? The Capital Access Team writes this stuff, okay, until they write it, it is not the rule of the land. So he has sent my exact wording over to them, and I have the emails, and he sent it over to them. What they write in the FAQs next week, which I'm hoping next week, we'll have to wait and see. But I was excited about that. But we have had a member, so I've said all along, I've said all along that this is a bad loan. So one person today sent me, their bank sent them the payment book for the PPP. Okay? And so their payment, their first payment, which is due in November, okay, again, assuming that this isn't forgiven before then, is for $1,300. Would you like an extra $1,300 payment or more come November? So that is the key there. These payments are not sustainable. This is another mortgage payment for you if this was a loan. Yes, you can absolutely, Amanda, hire new people with the PPP. It is encouraged for you to either get your people back on the payroll or get new people to fill the role. There's 30 million unemployed of them out there. So keep that in mind. What the heck was I writing? Oh yeah, well I already talked about that. I'm going down my list to making sure I talked about everything. So the idea again has come up about business interruption insurance covering non-physical damage and what they're doing and not. And there's been talk of different states having legislation and the federal government having legislation. And if you let me finish this thought and I'll come back to that, Angie. Okay, there's a lot of constitutional issues with legislation that would force it. So in any case, anything with business interruption insurance would be years and years out because of the litigation that would go on with it, even if it was legislated. But moving forward, they're expecting it to come out something like terrorism insurance, where the government funds it. But do not expect your funding to come from business interruption insurance because of this in its current form. Angie asked, if you get the PPP dispersed but not open yet, can you still get unemployment? If you are not self-employed, and so if you are an S-Corp or you're on the payroll, yes, you can still get unemployment. If you are self-employed, the unemployment needs to stop immediately when you get the PPP. So if you're a sole proprietor and such, that needs to stop immediately. You could start all over. That is an option, Lori. The goal is to get your existing employees back, but you can hire anybody to fill the roles and to fill the requirements of the PPP. It's also been asked, and while not the intent, certainly the government acknowledges that if you bring people back to meet the requirements of the PPP, business conditions down the road could warrant them getting laid off again. That is completely acknowledged in it, and that is a reality. They hope that isn't the reality. And I hope from what we're seeing today of initial sales from stores that have started opening up that we don't have the need to do that. But I do have to acknowledge the possibility of it. Amanda, you wouldn't necessarily have to hire 8 people. Remember, under the current guidance, you have to hit an average of 75% of your FTEs. So in simple math, that's probably 6 if you had 8 FTEs before. Okay, but again, and so that could be 50% the first 4 weeks, 100% the last 4 weeks. You'd hit 75%. What I'm expecting again is that we will have further guidance that allows some wiggle room with that as long as you hit your count by 6:30. It depends. In your case, Kitty, I think that's true from what we've discussed of what your claimings were. But other people, depending on what they claimed down for income and stuff, have qualified for the pandemic unemployment assistance in their state, especially if they were an S-Corp. What is the name of the scotch I drink? I drink Costco scotch. It's about $20 a bottle. For a big bottle is the scotch that is my everyday table scotch. I like the better stuff. I like the Macallans and things. I like working my way up to that, but I'm frugal. So I buy for my everyday scotch is the Costco one. Costco has 2 different kinds. Costco has one that's like $40 a bottle or $37 a bottle, which is better than the $20 bottle stuff. But I like getting 2 bottles better than I like the little bit better of Costco stuff, is my frugalness. But tonight we are with gin and tonic. So that is what we have tonight. But we're all going to the other side of this. And so, but again, do not forget that with the PPP. You've got to spend, you got to, and I think, Lindsay, I'm going to have to do a whole story on how I got started on Scotch. I'll have to do a whole video sometime on Aunt Sarah, who got me started on Scotch, okay? Little old Aunt Sarah, okay? I said part of the Aunt Sarah story before, but I think Aunt Sarah almost deserves her own video. Where I could show her stereo, I could show the whole thing. I can do the whole Aunt Sarah story, okay? Cassandra's trying to cut me off with my stories. She thinks I have too many stories. The crazy part isn't all my stories. The crazy part is that all my stories are true. But that is sort of where we are tonight. I'm thrilled with what we're getting. I've got a lot of people to call back tomorrow. Bonnie, you can bonus me. You can add me to your payroll. It's Neil, N-E-I-L. Okay, but you can bonus people all you want as long as the 8-week trend of their income does not take them over $100,000 a year when annualized. So that is the key. Hey, Lindsay, alcohol research is an important way of getting through this. You want to see our outside of our house? Cassandra will sell it to you. Cassandra will give you the whole tour and sell you the place. Cassandra and Jennifer will make you such a deal on this place in the country. She'll even throw in Nana. I think she'd sell it furnished too. When we bought this house, I was smart enough to know that an 18-wheeler would not fit up my driveway. I've known enough people that have driven that I knew that a 53-foot truck would not get up my driveway. But the moving company, they even drove to the house and looked at it ahead of time and said, no problem. And then I said, sure, then you don't mind guaranteeing the do not exceed clause on the move. And they did. And the truck did not fit up the driveway, but they hit their max at around 11 a.m. or something, and the salesman was in a lot of trouble for that one because they ended up having to cart everything from the bottom of a very, very long driveway. But we will do some stuff. Nana's working on the garden outside, so we will have some pretty outside shots for you, Jennifer, in the coming weeks. It's FTE based, Dana, but it's not like, but it would be frowned upon, for example, if you had somebody that you were trying to say was 80 hours, okay, to hit that number. But happy to work that through with you. Hey, Donna from Shreveport. But I think ultimately, I really think ultimately for most of us, especially those of us that are closed longer, the number is going to change to something that we have to hit by June 30th. But it will not change the spend in the 8-week period. I mean, I really think they're doing their best within the legislation, the way it was written, to allow for leniency. Okay, I mean, in going back and forth with Alan today, my new bud, I mean, he's associate administrator or some fancy title, but by the end of it, he's just Alan. Okay, it is going to be some leniency so that we can use this June 30th date so that we have people back on our staff by then. They're going to still forgive it for us. But they aren't going to forgive if we didn't spend the money on payroll in the 8 weeks. That is super key. Oh, sure, Christine, you'll talk to Julie soon, but not me. I'm hurt now. Chris, it's going to be payroll paperwork. It's going to be 940s, 941s, and a journal likely from your payroll company. Of payroll during that 8-week period is going to be some of the big things on that for forgiveness. So, but again, that hasn't been fully defined, really pushing on them to do that. In my talks with Alan today, sending around, you're asking everybody to do all this, but you haven't provided the guidance on it. So, and that's where they come back to spend the money on payroll, and we'll help you get the rest of the way there. And I appreciate the sentiment. I just want some of it in writing, and that's why I'm waiting on the Capital Access team, who actually writes this stuff. That is, I am hopeful. They like to issue a lot of guidance at the beginning of the week. They didn't end, the beginning and the end of the week, they tend to do a lot of stuff. My Mondays tend to be full of new things coming at us fast and furious that they thought of over the weekend. So I'm hopeful over the weekend that the Capital Access team will get to work and get at it. That's not a choice, Diane. So Diane had an employee that would rather not right now. If they don't want to come back to work, Diane, that is their choice, but that is them resigning their position, and they need to understand that. So, you're welcome within your own latitude as long as you apply it fairly to do something different with that, but she is resigning and thus giving up her unemployment and the extra $600 a week. Hey, Ellen! No worries, I love watching your lives. Your obligation on unemployment is to notify unemployment that you offered her a job back. That's your obligation. The Angela, the EIDL loan you want to use for immediate needs only. You don't want to use it to invest in that second location in other things right now. You want to put it in the money part that you don't need for your immediate needs. You want to park it and leave it off to the side for a year. Okay, keep it for the immediate needs, and then park the rest of it off to the side. The overall EIDL loan is running at 25 to 40 days, depending on the person. One thing I cannot stress enough, because I've had multiple people screw this up, okay? And I say screw this up with love, okay? I love these people, okay? And you know who you are. I'm not calling you out by name, okay? It is do not change your bank information when you do the EIDL. Do not, unless there's been fraud on your bank account, do not change your bank info. That can cause a decline, or it can cause your loan to sit and spin around forever. Okay, I have one that should have been funded 2 weeks ago, but they changed their bank account. And it's sitting and sitting and sitting. So I need to get somebody to look at it, and I will. But do not change that. But it is coming together, and they will open the EIDL for those of you that haven't applied. They will open it again. Don't worry, Molly. You're in the zone still of on my list. I noticed where you were on my list today. I don't have it in front of me, but you're in the zone that should be hearing soon. So don't worry about that. Worry more that Eric and I can never connect. But, on my list, things are running about 25, 40, but people are getting the funding, and I know it feels like a world. I absolutely and totally get it. But the money is coming. But again, this is a loan, and we have to grow our way out of this because it's a loan, and you're not looking for another loan payment, so we have to grow our way out of this. But first and foremost, we have to survive it. And we will, because we're all together. You are not alone running the store. And so we will all grow out of this. A lot of you, your EIDL loans are right around the 1st. A lot of the people, and they're still finishing up the end of March right now from what I'm seeing. But it is coming. I can assure you, and, some of you will be like, oh my God, that's more money than I knew, and what am I going to do with all that? And you're going to park it. Okay, I've had a couple of people drive 3 states away to a little bank that doesn't offer online banking just to deposit it so they don't touch it and do it. So, but it is coming together. I can promise you that. It's, they are, the SBA is a group that is they're in a IndyCar race. They're in the Indianapolis 500, but they're riding a bicycle. You gotta keep in mind what we're working with. They've never done anything like this before. They're an amazing, amazing group of people. I mean, I really wish some of you could get to know them outside of this, and I really hope to be able to introduce you to people at the SBA and the resources of the SBA outside of a disaster. Okay, when we get beyond this, I really hope I get the opportunity to introduce you to these fabulous people. Even when Linda McMahon was the administrator, she did a fabulous job of taking the time to understand small business and the effect that the SBA programs had on them. And for a billionaire to take the time to understand that and understand the small side of it and remember what it was like, I mean, their business, for being billionaires now, okay, really started on the small side, okay? They were doing stuff out of their car. They were, doing all sorts of things. So she remembers those times, okay? It is not easy. So I am working on that. Yes, they will be opening not only are they currently funding the EIDL, but they will be opening it again. They're updating the guidance and such and application so it handles some of the farm specifics and other things that the SBA has never dealt with that they are dealing with. But you know, I am really excited. I honestly can't believe these people take my call. You know, when they were emailing back and forth with me today, it was really kind of somewhat surprising because, but I was thrilled to be able to do that and to be able to advocate on your behalf, on everybody's behalf, all of retail. We're you know, but we're gonna get to the other side. Lots of people with 2,000 numbers are still getting everything funded, so it's all coming together. And Deanne, I think you got your $1,000 advance, so things are working. It's just not they are not the Indy 500. Okay, they are not. They are a government organization that is adapting like no other in these times. I can't give them enough credit for how they are adapting in these times to these unprecedented circumstances and what they are doing. So it is amazing. They are an incredible group of people, and I am looking forward to really introducing it because they've done some great things. I've had some great experiences. I took an amazing 6-month class with them. I mean, it's just amazing some of the stuff they do. But that doesn't put money in your bank account today, and I understand that. But again, we have to really work on growing our way out of this, okay? And there's going to be a lot of things for growth, and resale is going to get highlighted in ways that I can't even begin to talk about now because there's some really cool things that I'll know more about next week. And resale is going to take a national stage on, and I'm super excited about, even though I fully don't understand it. We're going to get there. We're going to get there. I mean, when I'm able to talk to you about I hope next week, what is happening on a national level for resale, that I was just floored about, and it is really cool that will elevate the industry to a whole new level. So I'm super excited. The future is bright. I might have to wear shades. Hey, every night I am here for you live for NARTS members in the NARTS private Facebook group every night at 8 o'clock Eastern. Did you see my new catchy graphic that Angie did to surprise me with today? That she started May Day with, that new catchy graphic? I mean, that's pretty cool. It's a pretty good realization of what happens behind me. I'll have to share, there's another doodle that was done of me that a secret doodler did, and I'll have to share that too, but you got to check that doodle out. Thank you, Angie. Love that. We got so many great things, but I am here every night live at 8 o'clock Eastern. You can find me anytime you need me. You've got a question, and I'm happy to do your math, and I'm happy to work you through the situation, and happy to get you to the other side. All you got to do is email me, Neil, 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 at ECIstores.com, Neil at ECIstores.com, and I will call you back. Make sure you include your area code and phone number in the email so I can call you back and review that situation. I said something funny and you all laughed. I don't even know what I said that was funny. But okay, I'm usually just funny looking. But I'm thrilled to have you all here. I like a good party. I like a good time. And you guys are my good time every night. Every night we start the night with our good morning, good night book. Every night we end our night with our good morning, good night book. For those of you that were not here at the top of the program, our good morning today was, good morning. This feeling will pass. This workload will pass. These people will pass. But look at you! With the gift of memory, you can time travel to the good stuff by just closing your eyes and breathing. Then come right back to now. Eyes up for the good stuff ahead, you magic thing. Good night. This moment will pass. This fatigue will pass. Tonight will pass. But look at you, with the gift of imagination. You can teleport to where you're happiest just by closing your eyes and breathing. Then come right back to now. Check in with the present. You, magic thing, you. Ladies and gentlemen, I am Neil Abramson. I appreciate that you are here with me every night. I am here with you to bring you the latest information that I have at the time and to help you get to the other side. You have a question about your individual personal situation. Email me, Neil, N-E-I-L at ECIstores.com. That is N-E-I-L at ECIstores.com. You and especially you are not alone running this store. I'm Neil Abramson. It is dinner time. I will see you tomorrow night, everybody. Have a great one.